Yeah, I figured it was time to bring it back. IYKYK. This is the Mason Crosby Show, middays with Thunder and Tommy, right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. My name's Mitch Nellis. His name is Tommy Wirtz. We are here for the next 2 hours. We are here to entertain, to engage, and to blow your freaking mind when it comes to sports radio here in the state of Wisconsin. Whew. Mikey Henninger, Basement Brute Fantasy Football 1220. Get your fantasy questions in now at WI Sports Radio on Twitter. Find me on Facebook. I've got questions up both on my personal page and on my Thunder MKE page. So you can just reply to those questions, your fantasy questions, or you can text in to our Nicolay Law Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. We're going eye on the enemy. We're going locked on Vikings at 1:00. Lloyd Braun. Nope. Luke Braun. Lloyd Braun. If again, IYKYK for you Seinfeld fans. Tommy, Seinfeld references have been pervasive all over sports radio for 20 years. I should turn your mic. There we go.
I was trying to give you some signs.
Tommy, Seinfeld references have been pervasive over sports radio for the past 20 years. Are Seinfeld references getting cringe? Are they getting dated? Are they what's the deal with Seinfeld references?
Well, I see what you did. Like, what's the deal with airline food is kind of where I was going. Well, that's a Seinfeld one, right?
Yeah, airline peanuts specifically.
Well,
the best one's
I'm
reservations.
Say, like, Seinfeld's getting kind of old, man. I am not a Seinfeld guy. I didn't really watch any. I know it was already in its like syndicated rerun days by the time I would have been watching it anyway.
Yep.
I know Hiding Under the Desk. I know
from the George Costanza taking a nap under the desk,
right? You know, and
when he worked for the New York Yankees, they traded Buhner.
Yeah, I remember him, and then I remember him hitting dingers in batting practice. Like, let me show you how it's done.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got for Seinfeld.
Yeah. There are thousands of classic lines from Seinfeld, like thousands of good storylines, of good one-liners. But I think we're getting there. I don't think we're there yet. Like I'm 49. I know that there are people who are like, I'll bet Mason knows Seinfeld lines.
Yeah.
He's 41. You are 25 and you don't.
Yeah.
And that's not something I'll hold against you. Have you seen The Shawshank Redemption?
I have.
Okay. Have you seen Hoosiers?
Ugh.
You should see Hoosiers.
Yeah,
it's worse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you need to go out this weekend and watch Hoosiers. But I'm saying like you should have that one in the bank.
Yeah, I've definitely been told to watch Hoosiers.
Yeah. I think I probably have told you to watch Hoosiers probably like a year ago or whatever. I think Ted Lasso to me is kind of the newer
Sure,
Seinfeld.
And I don't watch Ted Lasso.
Right. Do you need an Apple login?
I haven't now because of Friday Night Baseball.
Okay.
So I watched The Studio on there, which is an awesome show.
So would you watch Ted Lasso?
Yeah. I mean, how many seasons am I behind now?
3. It's 3 seasons.
Okay.
And it's over. Like they're talking about maybe there'll be a 4th one
Are
day.
they hour-long episodes or
nope, not even
minutes?
an hour.
Like
a half hour, maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's kind of.
They're not like I'm watching Stranger Things with Little Rumble.
Right, and those are
season 4. Every episode's an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's
like
ridiculous.
I love 40 minutes. I got 40 minutes for you all day.
Yeah,
an hour and 10. It's like, man, I'm like I'm dragging a little bit.
Right. That's kind of like my one sit down. I love watching. Like I'm really excited for this new 30 for 30 about Stuart Scott.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like that looks awesome. I can't wait to see that. I will sit down, even if it's a 2-part and it's 3 hours in 2 parts. Like, okay, I have to give up 3 hours of my night or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit down and watch that. As far as hour-long shows that are, 8-episode seasons, like it's just hard for me to just get into it.
Season 1 averaged about 30 minutes.
Okay.
By season 3, they're averaging 43 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
like I said, the
but
studio
there's
was
so
the
many
most
good lines.
Yeah.
Like, do you believe in ghosts, Ted? I do, but I think more importantly, they should believe in themselves.
You know, it's another show that should have way more references that doesn't get enough love that I know you love as well is The Good Place. The Good Place. Like,
it's so good.
It's so good. And I think it might have been like a little early for its time. Like maybe if it would have came out on Netflix last year and it would have this, like I think it'd be way more popular.
Yeah.
But it was obviously a network television show during that time.
Right.
And
so you had to fit.
Right.
The time.
So and that show,
but that makes episodes 23 minutes.
Right.
Like, that's
it was awesome.
beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
You can
binge watch
that.
it.
Yep.
I would rather watch 8 hours of 23-minute episodes than I would 8 hours of hour-long episodes.
Right.
Yeah. So
Ted Lasso is awesome, but not even close to Seinfeld on references, says JB in the 920.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Like, I agree. I think Ted Lasso does have a ton of great references and great lines, but nothing will ever reach Seinfeld. I don't even remember why I brought this up, but we are here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. It's Thunder and Tommy middays, as Mason was honored last night as the newest class of the Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame. Tommy, I know you mentioned to me earlier today a bunch of the other guys who were, and I haven't heard of any of them, which I wouldn't assume. Like when Wisconsin does this, it's like Mark Tauscher and a wrestler and a woman swimmer and a golfer.
Sure.
And with all due respect to those other athletes, I haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I had heard of them when I was working for the Badger Herald or the Wisconsin State Journal. Like I know who Ashley Fauser is because she was the first 5-star pitching recruit for the softball program ever. But I don't know, but nowadays I don't know some of the minor sports.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, minor sports, non-revenue generating sports, and I'm okay with that. But what I will say is congrats to Mason Crosby, and we will hear some of that sound later on in the show. I know he did some interviews around it, and I don't know if they posted his speech yet.
Yeah. That's where my beef lies with all of this is everyone's speech up on their Buffs TV,
but him,
except for his right now. So
can you call Rick George and just tell him we've got beef?
Yeah, we should probably just call him live on air. Just be like, yo, Rick, what's going on with this? So I'm hopeful that we'll get that sound. If not today, Monday, we'll play some of that back. Because it is awesome. Got to hype our guy up that he's into the Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame now. Yep. Shout out to Chris Livingston. Wasn't there
Chris
an NBA?
Livingston, the basketball player?
Right. No, that's actually a female administrator that got put in as well during this. But I just remembered when I said it out loud, I was like, didn't the Bucks have a Chris Livingston?
They sure did. American basketball player.
Steve Bosley, Barry Remington, and Jeff Campbell all also a part of that class.
Making up names. Nobody cares. This is the Mason Crosby Show, not the Chris Livingston Show or the Barry Campbell or Johnny Come Lately, whatever those names are. We've got Mikey Henninger coming up from Basement Brood Fantasy Football. He'll come up around 12:20. So again, get your fantasy football questions in. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. We've got, Lloyd, now back to Seinfeld. Lloyd Braun was a terrible stand-up comic character on Seinfeld. Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings will join us at 1:00 for Eye on the Enemy. Our Milwaukee Bucks lost a game last night in which they were losing the entire game. Mm-hmm. And at the very end, it looked like they might escape with a win. Miles Turner threw up the antlers. That was pretty sweet. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter right now at WI Sports Radio, you can see I'm doing the antlers. It's kind of the 3, like you hit a 3, but like you put them next to your head. Turner hits a shot with 7 seconds or whatever seconds left to go up by 2. And of course, Tyrese Maxey takes it to the hoop and gets it, gets fouled, makes the free throws. They go to overtime, and the Bucks clearly outplayed it overtime. And I have an early hot take that Bucks fans are going to hate. And I'm okay with it. I think Ryan Rollins is really good at basketball. I am enjoying watching him play. I don't love what the Bucks look like without Giannis in terms of isolation ball, Ryan Reynolds running the court.
Ryan Rollins,
not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is a whole different person.
different.
Ryan Rollins, I want to see the ball move more. I want to see other guys involved. And I get that Ryan Rollins sure looks like the best player on the court for our Milwaukee Bucks. And it's not even close right now.
Especially with no Giannis.
Right. While Giannis is out. But I'm just worried that this is going to devolve into a situation where it's Ryan and everyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a healthy situation for everyone else. Last night, Ryan Rollins was 13 of 26. 50%, 26 shots is a ton of shots. He scored 32 points on 26 shots. Tyrese Maxey took 4 more shots and scored 22 more points. Scored 54. Now, he made 6 threes to Rollins, too. He was 12 for 14 from the line. Rollins was 4 for 4. Rollins is not going to get the calls. He's not going to get to the line as much. Bobby Portis did have 14 shots. Kyle Kuzma had 14 shots. Miles Turner had 13 shots. The bigs were fine. The bigs got their shots. AJ Green, 5 shots. Gary Trent, 10. Gary Harris, 1. Cole Anthony, 7. I'm worried this is going to devolve. And yes, I said devolve into the Ryan Rollins show. Just like when Giannis was hurt, it was the Dame Lillard show.
Sure.
And Ryan Rollins looks like Dame Lillard out there. Like, he looks really, really good. And I think he's really good. Now, he did have 14 assists. So it's not like he's just chucking up shots. And when he's not chucking up shots, the team is lost. Dude had 32 points and 14 assists. But I know, like, Sparky tweeted that he really likes how they look and he thinks like they can be good without Giannis. And I'm the opposite end of the spectrum, man. I am worried that the way they are playing basketball without Giannis is too much Rollins. As good as Rollins is, and he's really good, it's too much Rollins.
Well, and it's the take that I've had of it's Bradley Beal syndrome all over again with Ryan Rollins, right?
Statting on a bad team.
It's statting on a bad team. Like Bradley Beal, yeah, he averaged 30 points a game 2 years in a row. He also led the NBA in field goal attempts, and the Wizards stunk during those 2 years.
Yep.
After leaving the Wizards, which he had 2 more seasons after his 30-point season, which he averaged 23 in each of those years. Very great stat lines, right? In his 3 years removed, putting him on Phoenix, well, he's down to 18 in his first year. He's down to 17 in his next year. And then with the Clippers this season, I think he's hurt now, right? But 8.2. Like, this is something that you have to pay attention to because, yes, Ryan Rollins' stats look awesome. And I do think he is the option to be the number 2. After 2 games of no Kevin Porter Jr., I was already in the boat of, okay, well, now it's interesting who's going to start when Kevin Porter Jr. comes back.
Yep.
Well, now it's pretty much solidified. You can't put Kevin Porter Jr. on the court starting when he comes back because of what Ryan Rollins is more capable of doing than Kevin Porter Jr. as far as scoring the basketball goes. I am concerned that Ryan Rollins might be getting a little more love just because Giannis is out and the team's not very good without him. I think Ryan Rollins is very good. So I think he's an all-star. It's right on the fringe.
No. Ryan Rollins? No, he's not even close.
Well, if Giannis was not on this team, he would put up the stats to be an all-star.
Right.
But 100%.
Exactly. But they would be, instead of 8-8, they'd be 4-12.
Correct.
And he wouldn't even be talked about being an all-star.
Right. That is 100% in agreement on that in lockstep.
414-677-1250 is the phone number. 414-677-1250. Nicolay Law talk and text line. Ram is in Milwaukee. Let's start with Ram. Ram, what do you have for us on the Mason Crosby Show? Middays with Thunder and Tommy.
Hey, I want to say I watched that game last night. I was actually going to go. But, like when a guy gets drafted high and you bounce around, it just seems like sometimes they're trying to prove that they can be a starter.
Yep.
And they may not necessarily fit into what, okay, say for instance, he's playing for his number for another team, just in case the Bucks go another direction.
Okay.
But when you look at Maxey been with the same team, and he has evolved. Because when he first came in, he couldn't shoot like that. He was a good slasher, but now he's been an all-star.
He is him. He is him.
He's him. He's one of him. No, for real.
Yeah.
But when you look at the players around him, I just think they got better players than the Bucks got.
I think
got
that's
better
a good point.
Shooters, better slashers. That's what it looks like to me. Even without Embiid on the court, it's like even when Embiid not playing, you didn't even think about Embiid last night.
No, we didn't think about it. They showed him at the very end of overtime, and my younger daughter's like, "Wait, Embiid didn't even play tonight?"
No,
and I was like, "No, he didn't even play." And they didn't. Honestly, they didn't need him with the guys around, with Grimes and McCain, and with Edgecombe, the rookie. I mean, this guy Edwards, who I don't even know. I don't even know Justin Edwards. They were.
Nice.
They were there. Nice. Yeah, they were balling last night, no doubt about it. So, Ram, I'm on the same page as you. I really like Ryan Rollins. I think he's really good. I think Gary Trent Jr., I think AJ Green, I think they all need a piece with Giannis out, and I'm just too worried it's too focused on Ryan.
I'm going to say this. The way they played last night, they could go down in a black hole and be losing because when nobody else is getting touches, that's just, I don't know.
And it's funny, Ram, it's funny to say because he had 14 assists. Like he had it, but he had 14 assists because he is dominating the ball every single possession. They're not like, I want 4, 5, 6 passes. You know, Hoosiers, the famous line, how many passes before we shoot? 4. How many passes? 4. They're not. It's Ryan Rollins, dribble, and either shoot or one pass to the guy who makes a basket. When he's that ball dominant, he's going to have that many assists.
Okay, I'm going to say this before I hang up. So when you look at the Bucks' potential backcourt and you look at the Central Division, where do you rank them?
Well, obviously they're below Cleveland. Obviously they're below Detroit. I think they're probably better than Chicago. I know Kobe White just came back.
Philly too. Like if you're rocking George and Maxey.
I was just thinking Central. But you know, and they're probably ahead of Indiana right now. But when Halliburton's healthy, they're below Indiana. Yeah. So they're probably 4th out of 5 just in the Central.
Ram, who was the comparison? Was it you that said Jay Humphreys?
Yeah, I said Jay Humphreys.
Yeah, so he said Ryan Rollins' game reminds him a lot of Jay Humphreys.
That's interesting.
I'll say Jay Humphreys because he, at least for now, but like I said now, just remember, he was drafted by the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I just think it was a bad situation based on what the Warriors were looking for at that time.
Right.
And they wouldn't look for nobody to play Steph because Steph is still there. And sometimes players don't want to do what they asked to do, so teams, they move away from them. That's what they do. So now he's trying to, get his feet entrenched with the Bucks. But then the question is, I don't know if Doc really has faith with his guard. I think he's cool with the front. Doc would, okay, real quick.
Well, no, Doc is going to let
out of high school, he was the number 1 player in the country.
Right, he was great.
Right, so he knows what a guard looks like. And I just think he's still auditioning.
Well, and I think he's found something in Rollins. I just think he needs to coach him. Ram, thanks for the call.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. I think that's part of it is that Rollins can hoop, but can he hoop on a team? And I think we need to see that. Brian's in McGuanago. Brian, you're next up on the Mason Crosby Show, middays with Thunder and Tommy.
Hey, guys, how you doing? I just have a couple of things to say that I'd like to get your response on my final comment. Is that when I look at the NBA, I've been following the NBA since John McLaughlin was on the team in that era when they won their first championship. And I can tell you, I would sell my soul to watch the game as a little kid growing up. I died to get the cards and get them signed and really kept them, didn't sell them. And with all the things that have gone on with the NBA for the last 20-some years in sports in general, I have no interest in going to a Bucks game. And just an example is that why would somebody, and most of those tickets at a Bucks game, you don't want to hear any noise until 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Those are 90% corporate tickets. The
There's
people
a lot
that
of
have
corporate tickets.
Yeah, all the connections.
Or empty seats.
Yeah, or empty seats, correct. And the connections of the people that have them are in the front, and they're busy talking. They're on their laptops. If you're watching a game on TV, every time they shoot somebody, they're on their phone. They're not even paying attention to the game. There's no way as a kid growing up in my 20s and 30s that I would have ever gone to a Bucks game and been on my phone.
Brian, I would love to get an honest assessment by the Bucks because they'll never tell the truth. They will never tell us the truth about who is sitting in those seats and who is watching the games and who is engaged. And I've been, I was a season ticket holder for the past 7 years. This year, I went down to a 10-pack. And when I go, I lose my brain. Like I'm screaming and yelling the whole game. I'm up and dancing. I'm up, but I'm like, I'm not sitting down where the rich people sit. Like,
Yeah.
like
And my thing is that when you look at it now, with the scams going on in the NBA and all the fraud activity.
well, it's all the sports though. Brian, that's not that has nothing to do with the NBA. That's a professional sports
as a whole
discussion.
As a whole package across the board. And
in all sports.
Right, yeah. But I'll tell you, to a Packer game, I'm going to tell you, I still have the same fever at my age that I did when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, but that's because you're a bigger Packer fan than you're a Bucs fan.
No, because I had season tickets to the Admirals. They're not the biggest thing in the world, but you felt value. There's no value to go to a Bucs game and spend $150 to $200 for a ticket, $50 to park, $15 for a beer. Yep. It's just insane.
I can't argue. There's
no
Brian.
value.
Yeah, Brian, thanks for the call. And I can't argue with them. I mean,
I can save you money though if you want a parking situation. Potawatomi Sportsbook. They do shuttles to the games.
Do they do shuttles to every Bucs game?
Every Bucs home game.
Are they?
Yeah, they tried it out during Brewer season. It worked out.
All right.
Now you just go park up, go place a little $5 bet, go buy a drink or something, whatever you want to do. They hook you up with a wristband, shuttles to the game.
We will continue this conversation after Mikey Henninger. Remember, it's Basement Brood Fantasy Football. Get your fantasy football questions in. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, or tweet at WI Sports Radio or Tommy WSSP or Thunder MKE. You can use all the Twitter things and find us on the verse if you want to. Mikey Henninger is next right here on Middays with Thunder and Tommy. Boys to Men in effect, yeah, and it's about time. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. It's Middays with Thunder and Tommy, and it is our weekly visit with our very good friend, Mikey Henninger from Basement Brood Fantasy Football. Mikey, what's going on, my man?
Dudes, I feel bad interrupting that awesome Milwaukee Bucks conversation, even to talk fantasy football. Other than that, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Then let's forget about fantasy football for a second and let's get involved in the conversation.
Let's go.
We were talking about Ryan Rollins, who obviously had a huge fantasy night last night. 26 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds, hit a couple threes.
32 points.
32.
Don't sell them short.
All right, 32 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds.
Yes.
And a huge fantasy night, and that's great. But we all know that fantasy doesn't always translate to wins on the court, wins on the football field. How do you view when players stat huge on bad teams?
I mean, that you're describing the Cincinnati Bengals right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exact. Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco doesn't matter. They're going to put up fantasy points, but they're not going to win that football game. So I don't know. As a fantasy football analyst, I love it, but not when it's my hometown team, the Milwaukee Bucks. I'd rather see some team basketball. I'd rather see them put together a great team performance and start stringing together some wins.
All right, now the real question.
What do you do with Jamar Chase out? Is that what you were going to ask? I thought because
I was going to ask the same.
You have Jamar Chase on your team.
That team's dumb. Like that team's so dumb. That's the team I cared all about.
But is it all T. Higgins,
no,
or is that weird guy who drops the ball all the time?
I'm ready to trade Jamar Chase for Emmanuel Wilson. Like that's where I'm at with this season. Like it's already done. It's done. I get it. But I'm all over. I was going to ask Mikey now. If you're talking about it from a Bucks versus fantasy team, Packers versus fantasy team, Mikey, where's your lean there?
The Packers are like the opposite. They don't really produce many fantasy football options outside of Josh Jacobs.
Right, but like if your fantasy football team was successful versus the Packers being successful that week, that's where I was going with that.
I mean, I'd rather the Packers are successful. Let's put it this way. Okay. Number one for me is my customers and my members. I want them to be successful, and then the Packers, and then me. Like, if I lose fantasy football, I don't really care as long as those other, as everybody else is doing well.
All right, nice. That's a good start then. Well, looking at week 12, I just want to give a shout out to us yesterday. The Thunder now 4-0 since we started talking about Thursday night unders. Have you seen a trend with that with fantasy football at all? Mm-hmm. I know I'm kind of springing that on you, but Thursday night, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, we were like, oh, Thunder is Mitch's name, and Thursday under, like the Thunder, bet the Thunder.
And last night, even like there were 6 points scored in the second half. Like it was going way over. And then it just didn't. And that probably hurt Josh Allen owners. Mm-hmm. That probably, do you see a Thursday night trend there at all?
100%. Yep. 100%. Mm-hmm. I don't have the data pulled up, but I have actually done a study on this very thing. Offensive performances tend to lack a little bit on Thursday night football, and it makes a lot of intuitive sense, right? Like you have less time to prepare, less time to game plan. You have a shortened playbook. All the guys are, still banged up from just playing 4 or 5 days ago. And then if you guys have noticed, a lot of the Thursday night games tend to be division games, and division games are also lower scoring affairs more often than not. So it's kind of a perfect storm of not good for fantasy football environment. Now that's not every game, but Thursday night is always a red flag.
Yeah. And of course, then the Steelers and the Bengals ruined that, 5-6 weeks ago when they played. I actually would argue that in division games usually go how you think they're going to go in terms of over or unders. But I think on Thursday nights when it's not common opponents, that's when you get the weird low scores because they feel each other out. They don't know exactly what's going on, and they're still not recovered from Sunday. Like it's such a quick turnaround. So Thursday night happened. So we like having you on Fridays because Thursday night, like we know is garbage and we're not starting anybody anyway. But let's go right to the Packers running back situation. Josh Jacobs, they worked him out a little bit yesterday. They worked him out a little bit. They're going to work him out a little bit today. No one has ruled him out of playing on Friday. I've heard numerous Packers reporters think that regardless of Josh Jacobs playing, that you could see Chris Brooks a lot this week, especially with his blocking over Emmanuel Wilson. I did pick up Emmanuel Wilson in the league that I have Josh Jacobs in, just to be ready in case that's the direction I need to go. What do you think? Let's set up both scenarios. One, Josh Jacobs plays but isn't 100%. And two, if Josh Jacobs doesn't play, what do you foresee happening?
Yeah, and I think I know Josh Jacobs was talking to reporters the other day talking about, if I can go, I'm going to go. If I can't go, I'm not going to go, right? So the thing with Josh Jacobs is, if he's going to be active, we should just treat him in fantasy football the way that we would always treat Josh Jacobs when he's active. And it's a decent spot for a running back in Green Bay Packers running back in fantasy football this week. The Packers are heavily favored. They're 7-point favorites 6.5-point favorites as of right now. They should be able to play in positive game script, keep the football on the ground. There should be plenty of volume to go around for the running backs in Green Bay. Now, the problem is the matchup. Minnesota is not necessarily a friendly spot or a friendly matchup for running backs. They are holding running backs to the 13th fewest PPR points per game and the fewest PPR points per touch. So they are stamping out efficiency. There have only been 8 running backs in 10 games that have been able to reach even just 14 or even just 10 PPR points against the Vikings, and just 4 of those have been able to get to 20. So it's just not a high efficiency spot, but it is a high volume spot, and ultimately volume is going to be more important. So I wouldn't hesitate about benching Josh Jacobs if you have him, if he's going to be active. Now, Emmanuel Wilson, he is going to be a serviceable plug-and-play RB3 flex type of running back, right? He's not quite Josh Jacobs. He's going to split a little bit of time with Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks might be the guy who takes passing down work. But if you are in a pinch, you need somebody that you can throw into your lineup this week and just grab them off waivers, throw them in there. Emmanuel Wilson's going to be in a great spot. He's a good bet.
Emmanuel Wilson or Tony Pollard?
It's going to be hard to recommend Tony. Who do the Titans? Oh, the Seahawks? Yeah, no. I'm out on no thanks on Tony Pollard. I'd go Emmanuel Wilson.
Just because that's my backup. I have Josh Jacobs and Christian McCaffrey, so I've been pretty good in that league.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I got Josh Jacobs in the second. Those are my first 2 picks. But I never got a good. I wish I'd gotten Henderson from the Patriots. I should have picked him late, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. I have a big picture question for you, Mikey. And I know, keep your fantasy questions coming in. 414-677-1250. David wrote in on my Facebook wall because I put the question up on Facebook as well. Why do I subject myself to playing fantasy football every season? It's not what it used to be. And I was wondering, what's your, I mean, obviously you're all in. What changes, how, Mikey, I'm going to put you on the spot. How old are you?
38, 37.
Okay. Yeah.
38.
So I assume you've been playing for about 20 years.
Yeah.
I assume you started as a junior or senior in high school. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
How have you seen the world of fantasy football change in the 20 years or since you really got into it? Because I used to be a 6 to 10 team a year. When I was in college and just after college, I would show up to Damon's, the restaurant, and I would have all my lineups and my opponent's lineups written out, watching all the games. Yep. And then and now I have 2 teams and I'm okay with that. How have you seen the industry change?
Man, there has been a gigantic evolution and sometimes a de-evolution, it feels like. I can't tell you how many times when people hear what I do for a living and they've been playing for 30, 40 years, they're like, oh yeah, I used to wait for the newspaper to come out and we had to record it by
not just the newspaper, but then you'd have to the late games might not be in there. So you'd have to get the Tuesday USA Today. I mean, I can tell you stories about baseball about waiting when Tuesday had the AL stats and Wednesday had the NL stats. But that's a whole nother tangent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, that's kind of the roots, right? That's where it all began. And then, you do get people that get hooked on it. They get 5, 6, 10, 20 teams. That's definitely me, especially when you can play online now instead of, back in the old days when it was newspaper, you couldn't play in that many because who has that kind of time? But now you can play in more. However, we are seeing a little bit of an evolution where people are going from 5 leagues down to 1 or 2, which is totally fine. I have no problem with putting all your eggs into 1 or 2 baskets. I think theoretically that makes fantasy football a little bit more fun because you become a little bit more invested in your team. Whereas guys like me, I literally have over 500 fantasy teams. It doesn't even matter who scores touchdowns now because it hurts and helps me.
Right.
Both
You have them on your team and you're playing against them.
Right. So there is some fun to, hey, if you're only going to play in 1, play in 2, make sure it's a really, really strong league. And then you can be emotionally invested in your team as well. But there's a lot of people that are dropping some of their fantasy teams because they're getting more involved in FanDuel and DraftKings and DFS and sports betting. Sports betting is becoming significantly bigger than it ever was before. And even some of those DFS websites like Prize Picks and FanDuel, you can do a style of sports betting that's actually legal on there. It's called Pick'em, where you can do props and over unders, but it's not considered betting. So it's legal or whatever that whole loophole is. But yeah, there's always an evolution of the game. And for some people, it's just not quite the same as it used to be. So they look for those weekly edges somewhere else.
This is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meme of, Master Splinter walking with the small turtles and then the large turtles walking you guys who are Master Splinter in the middle, like into, okay, we got you now, Grandpa. Like with your
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
We got a question coming in here though in regards to fantasy football advice from Jeff.
Yep.
Ashton Genty, is he cooked or is he still worth starting right now, Mikey?
No, he's not cooked, but I mean, we know what he is this year, and ultimately it's not Ashton Genty's fault. It's that Raiders offense that's just absolutely miserable. I mean, we're in a spot with Genty where we know what to expect. He's a very boom or bust player, but he does get high-end RB2, low-end RB1 volume, and he's very much capable of those weeks. In fact, he's actually been kind of hot over the last few weeks. Now, last week, obviously different story, but it's the sort of thing where you want to play Ashton Genty when he's in the right situation. In games where the Raiders are going to be competitive, such as this week, by the way, they're 3-point favorites against the Browns. Genty should get as much volume as he can possibly stomach. The Raiders should give him the ball as many times as they can. Now, the matchup isn't pretty. The Browns are absolute nails against running backs. That's typically a matchup you want to stay away from. But the thing with Genty ultimately is you got to pick and choose the moments that you put him into your lineup. This week is a fine one. It's not particularly exciting. It's not particularly terrifying. But I wouldn't say he's cooked by any means.
Mikey Henninger, Basement Brewed Fantasy Football, joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show middays with Thunder Edition.
And Tommy.
I'm here as well. Yeah. I don't need the credit. I don't do it for the words. I don't
care what you need. I'm putting you in there anyway. I go ahead. I got a question too, but you go ahead.
Mikey, Sam Laporta out for the year. Who's a good tight end to go out and get that might be available in some leagues? Is it worth going back up in Detroit with the volume they had Laporta doing? If there's any league winning on the waiver wire type tight end guys, who are you looking at right now? Or at least someone to help you stay afloat in some of these situations if you had a guy like Sam Laporta on the team.
Yeah, first of all, man, let's talk about a 24-year-old having back surgery. It's a brutal, brutal game that they're playing. That's wild. But I'll say this. Usually when you lose a guy like Sam Laporta, there's never a tight end that you can just go scoop up that's going to save your season. However, it's not just a lost cause. This is typically the type of scenario where now the rest of the way you're going to do what we call streaming, right? You're going to stream your tight end. You're going to find the right environment, find the right matchup, and plug and play a tight end from waivers pretty much every single week. I'll tell you this week in particular, at the top of I put together a little streamer's cheat sheet every single week. And at the very top of that, we have Cade Otton. The Buccaneers are in another potentially high scoring game.
I pick him up every year on bye weeks. Like, I feel like I've had him on my team for 7 straight years for like a week or two.
He's one of those guys that's just quietly productive every single year. He's got a good matchup with the Rams this week. That game could shoot out. He's in a good plug and play type of environment. Kyle Pitts is sometimes available on waiver on the waiver wire. Drake London's not going to play this week. There should be some added volume for Kyle Pitts. Pitts played pretty well with Kirk Cousins in that spot start back in, I think that was week 8. So he's an option. Here we go. I have Noah Fant, who should be available in pretty much every league that's out there. You guys talked a little bit earlier about Jamar Chase missing this game. First of all, if T. Higgins doesn't see like 15 to 20 targets in this game, then I don't know what Cincinnati's doing.
Yep.
But Noah Fant is actually in a really sneaky spot to put up some fantasy points this week in particular. The Bengals are 6-point underdogs, so they're going to have, Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow might have to throw the ball 40 plus times. There's no Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, by the way, is averaging 14 plus targets every single game with Joe Flacco. And now those are available. T. Higgins is definitely going to eat, but you could definitely argue that the number 2 option is going to be Noah Fant, not Andre Iosivas. So he's a sneaky plug and play.
We only got about a minute left, but real quick, staying on the Bengals. If Joe Burrow's available in a league, if you didn't have an IR spot and he got released, would you pick him up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Obviously, if you have like a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, then you don't need to waste that spot. But yeah, if you don't have a top 5 quarterback, go ahead and grab him.
And 414 writes in, who's the number 1 wide receiver I should be looking at this week to make the biggest impact? So I don't know if he's playing daily fantasy, with Jamar Chase out, who is going to, because he's the number 1. But besides him, who this week?
I would say the guys that I have flagged pretty high. I got Rashee Rice. He's in a really good spot this week. T. Higgins is in a really good spot. It's uncomfortable, but scooping up one of those Eagles wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they got Dallas this week. Dallas just, if one of us 3 played wide receiver against Dallas, we would score 20 plus PPR points. It's just how it goes.
I like how you think. I like that. It is basementbrewedff.com, basementbrewedff.com. And there's a Black Friday sale going on right now. So get to basementbrewedff.com. Sign up for the rest of the season. You get everything for the rest of the year, including the playoffs. I actually think fantasy playoffs is underrated, but we'll get to that. So fun. Yeah, as we get to the playoff season. So it's basementbrewedff.com. Mikey, have a great weekend. Thanks so much for jumping on.
You too, guys. Have a good weekend.
Absolutely. Mikey Henninger, basementbrewedff.com. Love meeting with him every week. We'll wrap up this hour, get to some Vikings talk in the 1 o'clock hour, as well as we go locked on Vikings. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. It's Middays with Thunder and Tommy.
you ever thought about where college football or football in general is taking it? Here you're a Georgetown, Texas kid, Boulder, Colorado, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's been a heck of a ride for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is wild. Just to think that I grew up in Texas, came up here to a camp, and like I said, with Gary Barnett, he saw me kicking in a camp, and they were going with Kevin Everhart. They were going to move, just have a local guy, and to seize that opportunity and have that chance to come and play at the University of Colorado. So many great teams, so many great teammates. And then the journey to Green Bay. Everyone's like, "Oh, you played in Colorado. Like Green Bay should be easy." I was like, "Colorado's pretty nice," and we finished, right after Thanksgiving, for the most part. So it helped me a little bit going to Green Bay, but everything I learned here from Gary Barnett, from my coaches, from my teammates, from this university, and just being a Buff helped me to have that resiliency, have that grit to go to Green Bay and just do it as long as I did.
That is Mason Crosby after the Hall of Fame induction ceremony last night in Boulder, where our Mason Crosby grew up. He became a man in Boulder, Colorado. I don't know. That just sounded fun. But he was inducted into the Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame last night, talking about what it meant to him. When he got asked that question, Tommy, I actually thought he was going to get into the business of sports.
I also was like, yes.
Because it kind of sounded
please ask him about NIL right there. Just have him go crazy on that.
I think his, and this is, Mason gets like this sometimes, right? Mason has that focus that you need to be an NFL player for 16 years, that sometimes he doesn't always hear, he could have gone in that direction. But I think he was so focused at this event that this event is about celebrating Colorado, and this event is about my story from Georgetown to Colorado. And then, I'll give some love to Green Bay, a little bit of that as well, that I don't think it even entered his mind that I could make this a little bit about the current status of what college football looks like. But that would have been great if
that would have been awesome. I thought it was going to happen too.
I did. Yeah. Coming up in the second hour of the program, we've got Luke Braun, Locked on Vikings. He's going to join us right after the top of the hour. We'll talk keys to the game, keys to victory for our Green Bay Packers. What do the Vikings need to do in order to potentially upset the Packers at Lambeau on Sunday? All sorts of more fun stuff coming up in the second hour of the program. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. He's Tommy Wirtz. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We are in the Wisconsin Sports Radio studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, middays with Thunder and Tommy, and we have breaking news here on the Mason Crosby Show, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. John Heyman, Major League Baseball reporter.
Connected to Wisconsin.
Is he?
As well. I believe his wife's from here.
Okay.
And like he jumps on with Sparky all the time. Yeah. Talk Milwaukee.
He does. He works for the New York Post, but he's an insider at the MLB Network on 670 The Score, our little sister station to the south. The Bleacher Report and more is reporting that Jake Bauers and the Milwaukee Brewers have agreed to a 1-year, $2.7 million deal. Jake Bauers back in the fold with our Milwaukee Brewers, two-way hitter and pitcher. He cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
He can only hope to be contained.
I mean, this is like Christmas coming early for me. I'm all in. I almost cried in the break. As you know, Jake's my guy, and he's back, baby. He is back. I'm so pumped right now.
It's exciting news, no doubt about that. Less exciting, the UW Green Bay fighting Phoenix down by 15 to Yale with about 6 minutes left in the U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam going on right now. Remember, Badgers and BYU, a battle of top 25 teams, play at 3 o'clock today in Salt Lake City. BYU has its two best players, but a couple other starters are questionable to play, so Badgers might be able to catch them off guard. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call. That's all. It is time for Eye on the Enemy. Luke Braun here with us from Locked On Vikings. Luke, how are you, sir?
Hello. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
You as well. Yeah, absolutely. The NFC North gauntlet starts. I know that it's a little bit different for the Vikings as you've played. The Vikings have played a number of teams. The Packers in week 1 played the Lions and have not played an NFC North game since then. 5 of their last 7 games are NFC North contests, starting with this Sunday against the Vikings.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. It's also like a little nerve-wracking. I think in the next 3 weeks, they'll know a little bit better about where they stand. The NFC North, obviously, last year with 3 playoff teams, the Vikings going through some growing pains with a new quarterback this year. But overall, talk about the NFC North a little bit first, if I could ask you about that first, and what you've seen. With the Bears being 7-3, playing against the worst schedule in the history of mankind, the Lions kind of coming back to earth a little bit without their coordinators. What do you see when you look specifically at the NFC North?
Yeah, this is not the NFC North of last year, especially, certainly not the Vikings of last year. I think you would agree this is not the Packers of last year. There's been some issues, injuries up front, inconsistency here and there. There's been coaching issues with LaFleur. I've seen Packers fans say stuff about LaFleur I would have never imagined just 2 years ago.
We've said it on this show.
Yeah. And we've questioned ourselves while saying it. Like, are we right?
Are we
like,
really?
how do we really feel about this guy? We're still not sure.
I thought you'd turn on Love before you turned on LaFleur, but that was just my misread.
There's been a little bit of that too.
I'm all in on Love. That's Mitch Nellis hates Love.
Right. I don't hate Love. I'm just not sure. He's good. And sometimes he's great, but in general, he's good. All right. Anyway, your thoughts on the NFC North?
Well, it's not last year's Lions. It's not last year's Vikings. It's not last year's Packers. I would say the only team that looks like they've taken a real step forward is the Bears. And I think everybody else is I think the division is really kind of locked itself back up into a bit more of a muddled picture. And it's a lot less clear. Last year, even though the Vikings were keeping pace with the Lions were always really heavily favored.
Yeah, they were the juggernaut.
To stave them off. They were the juggernaut. I don't think the juggernaut's not in the NFC North this year. It's probably one of those NFC West teams. So I think, the Vikings are their season is a different thing right now. They're out of it. They are not worried about division standings. But I think for the other 3, it's really kind of anybody's game. Whoever figures out their own problems in their own building and gets hot, as there's a lot of divisional games left on the docket for everybody. Whoever figures those out is going to be able to take this and get a home playoff game.
let's talk JJ McCarthy. And, he has the week one greatest comeback in the history of the NFL, obviously.
Player of the week.
Yeah. Yep. Had some injury issues and has come back now. What do you think of JJ McCarthy today? And what do you think kind of the long-term prognosis, 2 years from now down the road, what do you think the expectation, a fair expectation should be for JJ McCarthy?
Yeah. Right now, there as much as I want to find like Homer Cope, you can't. He's playing horribly. He's missing throws he should make. Things are late, things are early. Earlier in the season, he couldn't get in and out of the huddle successfully without messing up a play call. I mean, it's been a pretty bad disaster. And I think it's been enough of a disaster where some of that's above his head. Some of that is about, the coaches. Some of it's about the other players not necessarily hearing or hearing words wrong and getting stuff wrong. That like some of that's not on him. That's on, why did you think I said this when I said that?
Okay.
So there's been a lot of really bad problems, and it's led the Vikings to 4-6, circling the drain. They probably have to win out to even have a hope of, becoming a real power in the NFC, right? But there's enough for me. I've seen enough of I understand what the vision is with JJ McCarthy, and I can see look, he's 22. I think he has not yet started 40 games in all of college and the pros. For comparison, when Bo Nix came out, he had already crossed that threshold when he came out of the draft.
Yep, makes sense.
In fact, I think maybe Jordan Love didn't cross that threshold until maybe year 5.
Yeah, it feels like it.
So for me, I have been preaching patience, and I will always preach patience about all of these things. I preach patience about whatever the rookie is that you don't think is doing enough pretty much every year. And so I've been just kind of covering the development process as it goes along. Did we take steps forward this week? Did we take steps back this week? How did we do? And I think that, new problems keep cropping up, and that's bad. That's horrible. The accuracy was as bad as it's ever been, but he got a little bit better about keeping his feet under him this time. He lost his feet against the Ravens, but he got a little bit better at the huddle stuff that was bad, earlier in the year. So for me, this has kind of become a season. I'm treating it the way the Giants are treating their season or the Titans are treating their season. Who cares about the record, right? The record's out the window. We lost that. That's gone. Spilt milk. Let's see if the kid gets a little better. Let's see if he looks a little better. But if you listen to people outside of me, there is definitely a sentiment that JJ McCarthy could play so poorly in these last 7 games that the Vikings go to the draft, or they start trying to figure out who they can trade to or whatever. And
already
they've frozen it already.
Man.
I think people are insane for that.
Yeah.
However, you can definitely sense that in the Vikings building that there's more wrong than just a young player is developing a little more slowly than we thought. There's real dysfunction. They can't get their subs in. They can't figure out what they want on the depth chart. They've benched 3 defenders, man. 3 defenders that were week 1 starters that they've said, no, I don't actually think you should have been a week 1 starter, which to me tells me somebody set that depth chart and somebody else stepped in later and said, you made the wrong decision, right? There is discord and dysfunction. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the season to see some heads roll because of how this season has gone. It's been very poorly organized. And I think they're going to cut a lot of those older, more expensive players too. They got some cap stuff and some players that aren't living up to that. So they've got a lot of very juicy cut candidates that I don't think a lot of people would miss too much.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, Luke Braun joining us here, Locked On Vikings on the Mason Crosby Show. Do those conversations about McCarthy get sped up because of the visuals that you see from Justin Jefferson on a sideline where you can see he has been very upset during these times right now, and the numbers are a huge drop off when McCarthy's at quarterback versus anyone else when it's targeting Justin Jefferson? Is that something that a lot of Vikings fans or Vikings are, concerned about, that you got one of the best guys, if not the best guy at the position in the league, and it doesn't feel like you're fully getting the most out of him because of that situation?
I think that he bears some responsibility as well. If you look at that Ravens game, I think that's the worst game I've ever seen him play. He lost effort, and that's on him. That's not on the quarterback. That's on him. But he is nothing but a leader. and he's behind JJ all the way. I do not think. I mean, look, I'm sure that there are some fans like seeing him, emote even a little and going, "Oh my God, diva!" But they're going to do that with basically any wide receiver that looks a little bit like him, if you know what I mean. That's just the stereotype that gets kind of applied to those guys, and I don't really think that it's serious. I don't think anybody serious is putting it on that. Justin Jefferson is the pillar. He's the backbone of the team. If Justin Jefferson leaves the Vikings, it's no longer the Vikings as we know them. We're on to the next era of the Vikings as soon as Justin Jefferson's not in purple. So I don't think that is a factor in any way, shape, or form at all.
So, and then looking at it now, let's get back to Green Bay, Minnesota this week. Where are you seeing strengths in Minnesota that they can then put those against the weaknesses of Green Bay this week? I know the season hasn't necessarily gotten off to the start you wanted to. I guess we're a little bit past the start, but Green Bay also has found themselves in some turmoil over the last 3 weeks. Now they get the win last week, but not a lot of people impressed by the win in the community when you only beat the Giants and push on the spread. And then the 2 weeks before, 2 terrible losses that, again, you're starting to hear talks about Matt LaFleur, talks about Jordan Love. Where are those weaknesses in Green Bay that you think could maybe be seen as strengths for Minnesota so that they could maybe have a say in what's going on in these Green Bay conversations?
Yeah, well, I've called the Vikings a bottom 5 team for the last month, which is crazy. I have received no pushback on that. Nobody has been like, that's too harsh to me. Not a single comment, nothing. Everybody's like, yeah, that's fair. So I've been calling them that kind of crummy, that kind of cruddy team that can't get out of its own way, and that seems to be the kind of team that the Packers struggle the most with.
Yeah.
But to a more serious answer, obviously, you have Zach Tom is hobbled. You're going to have Sean Ryan making his first start at center, I believe.
Second start.
Last week was his first. Yeah.
Last week was his first start. Yeah. The Vikings put a lot of emphasis on interior pass rush.
Well, and they blitz a lot, right?
And they blitz a lot. And one of the ways that they had the most success, if you look at their game against the Lions, was by forcing Jahmyr Gibbs to essentially be an O-lineman and then beating him on those blocks. And so if Josh Jacobs can't go, or if Josh Jacobs isn't 100%, that could be a big challenge for whoever's at the running back position. And it could be a big challenge for Sean Ryan to get everything sorted out. And not only that, but the Vikings have guys on the interior that haven't been as good against the run, especially Javon Hargrave. He's struggled a lot against the run. Jonathan Allen's been okay. Jalen Redmond's been okay. All of those guys have been great on the pass rush, though. So they've been able to get pressure up the interior. It was like a main focus of the offseason. Maybe they spent too much. Maybe they sacrificed too much run defense to do that. But they did do it. They are getting pressure up the interior. So if you have a backup there, I would say that guy's probably got a big, giant target right on his chest for the Brian Flores defense. And then on the other side of things, on the same side of things, so the Vikings, a big weakness of theirs has been letting up production at tight ends over the middle of the field. But since Tucker Kraft went down, the Packers have had, I think, they've had some indecision, I would say. But should it be Musgrave? Should it be somebody else? So if the Packers can figure that out, the opportunity,
it should be somebody else.
Right, it should be somebody else.
You don't even need to bring up Musgrave at all.
No.
Oh yeah, no. That guy's. I've been against that guy since he came out.
Well,
I was like,
and I would argue he could still have a role as your fast tight end who can get down the field. The fact that they're trying to use him like Kraft is the broken situation, because he's nothing like Kraft.
If you watch, let's see if he even gets a catch this week. But if you ever find yourself watching a Packer game, count how many steps he takes after he catches a football.
Luke, if you were near him, he would go down to the ground.
He just
he just falls down.
I have been a strong Luke Musgrave hater for years. And that's not even a Packer take. I was like, before it was clear that Tucker Kraft was better, I was like, they should be going to 85, man. It
was crazy. It was crazy.
So that's interesting. And then on the other side of the ball, I would still say, Jefferson has and Addison pulled out of their funk a little bit against Chicago. They get open all the time. And it's just a question of if the quarterback can figure out how to throw the ball, which is a bit important if you're the ball throwing guy. The opportunities will be there. They've been there all year long. Hawkinson's open, Jefferson's open, Addison's open, Jalen Naylor's open. All of these guys are open all the time, and it's just a matter of for the Packers. I guess the challenge of the Vikings is How do we get JJ McCarthy to ruin that? Because the opportunity is there. How do we prevent these plays from ever getting the ball out, turn them into sacks, turn them into broken plays or whatever?
So not JJ McCarthy specific. And Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings, join us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. But how have the Vikings dealt with a pass rush? How have they dealt with someone like Micah Parsons? And we know Micah Parsons maybe doesn't have the sack numbers as a Myles Garrett, but he's gotten some pretty good pressure throughout the year. He's been double teamed and triple teamed. We don't know for sure if LVN's going to play. But how have the Vikings dealt with the pass rush? Is it all that JJ McCarthy's been a mess in terms of footwork, or how is the offensive line held up?
Well, so they've been banged up as heck. So earlier in the season, when they were going up against TJ Watt and Myles Garrett themselves, it was backup. So they played Myles Garrett with one starter on the line. One. They had 2 third stringers out there. They had an undrafted rookie out there. And they basically had to do every play away from him to stop him from taking over the game. And that was not a good offensive output. Now, there actually is a chance that for the first time this year, we see all 5 offensive linemen. And when these guys have been healthy, they've held up very, very well. The last game against the Bears, and that's not the most fearsome pass rush in the world, but the Bears were only able to generate 8 pressures the whole game, which is a dominant performance from the pass protection. If they have to, they'll keep Hawkinson into block. They'll keep running backs into block. If there's, a lot of blitzes going on. I know the Packers like to mess around a little bit with sending a lot of people sometimes. So they'll have that tool at the ready. But I would say if they have all 5 healthy, there's going to be a little bit of trust there to say, yeah, I know Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. We'll maybe slide the protections toward him and hope somebody else can win. But we trust all our other guys one-on-one against all of your other guys, which means guys like Rashawn Gary or Lucas Van Ness, or he's hurt, I think, right? Or...
He's hurt, but he might come back. Like that, he was questionable last week. He's practice limited this week.
Or Devontae Wyatt, who I've been a Devontae Wyatt guy since he came out. I was very bummed when the Packers got him. Yep. That those guys are going to have one-on-one opportunities, and I think the Vikings are going to say, you know what? Like our first-round rookie guard Donovan Jackson's been playing great. Let's see if you can hang on to that. And Ryan Kelly. Tried and true. Will Fries, tried and true. We'll let those guys be on an island, and then we'll either trust our tackles to handle Micah Parsons. We'll chip them a lot. They'll probably do that. They love to send motions at these guys, especially when it's like TJ Watt or Aiden Hutchinson, who love to overrun things. Those guys are, love to, they're so fast that if you get them going, 2 steps in the wrong direction, they've moved 5 yards. And so I would kind of put Micah Parsons in a similar vein to those guys, where if you throw motion to his side and essentially force them to widen out with that, because that's how you have to respond to motion in case it's a jet sweep, you can hopefully use his speed against him and get him a little bit further out, make space, make a cutback lane, or just set up a better angle so that you can block him with a skill player, and instead of having to block him with an offensive lineman. And that's not, because I know people hear that and think that that's like disparaging toward the player. No, that's a plan you use for specifically superstars so that you can get rid of superstars without using offensive linemen. That's the schematic goal. And it worked great against Aiden Hutchinson, a little bit less well against TJ Watt, but that is a part of their plan for those kind of stud guys as well.
Well, Luke, we've had a good time here talking with you, but let's get your prediction on it. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday before we let you go?
And before you do that, what are you drinking?
A little coffee.
Yeah, same. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Little black coffee.
We're just having our black coffee. Yep.
Cheers.
Yep. I do not trust the Vikings to show up in any game this year. If they show up and really play it out, I think they can do what they did in Detroit. They can, make it a tough game, but I simply do not trust them to do that week to week. So I could very much see this thing getting out of hand, or being a close game. I don't really see a world where the Vikings just show up and kind of steamroll like it's been the last couple times at Lambeau.
I mean, the Packers, if they've shown any consistency this year, and they've shown none, is that they do play to their opponent, up or down or sideways. They've made every game a close game, whether they should be or not. So
yeah, it's a 6.5 point.
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
Or the Packers. I think anytime you're approaching a touchdown favorite in a divisional game or more, I'm always taking the points.
I don't hate
These
that.
guys
I
are
took
don't
the
hate that.
points yesterday. I
Yep.
took the points.
Yeah.
I-
Tommy took the points. I didn't.
It's a 24-20 game written all over it. Written all over
And
it.
it's funny. I gave my score before Tommy, and I said 24-13 Packers. So all Tommy did was backdoor cover Viking touchdown with 40 seconds
Yeah,
left.
right. You need that
That's
ending,
all he did, right.
fourth down, 2 seconds to go, intentional
Yeah.
safety, so that the Vikings
Nice,
cover.
nice. Exactly. Well, Luke, thank you so much for jumping on today. Keep up the great work at Locked On Vikings, and we will definitely be watching your stuff. And we'll do it again soon.
Cheers. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. That is Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings, a part of the Locked On Network, which obviously we're big fans of. Lots of friends here. By the way, for those of you keeping track at home, Yale is beating UW Green Bay 69-65. Green Bay on a 15-4 run. It is a 4-point game with 35 seconds left. Green Bay ball.
What if Green Bay gets another basket?
Then, and it's 69-65. So what are the teams average?
Oh,
What's the average?
gosh.
Do you shoot a 2 on purpose here?
Do the math.
Oh, there's a foul. There's a foul. Green Bay's going to the line. We're going to go to break. We will fill you in what happens in this thrilling game in the U.S. Virgin Islands, part of the Paradise Jam. The Yale Bulldogs and the Green Bay Fighting Phoenix. You throw out the records when these two teams get together. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. It's Middays with Thunder and Tommy. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. It's the Middays with Thunder and Tommy edition. I don't know if he did it on purpose. First of all, our thanks to Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings, joining us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I don't know if he did it on purpose to get all the kids, all the middle school kids excited. I don't know if the UW Green Bay basketball program and Doug Gottlieb, friend of show, friend of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. He's on every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. I don't know if he did this on purpose or not, just to get more fans, to get the middle school kids excited. But your final from the Paradise Jam, Green Bay down 69, down 2. They were down 2 with 30 seconds left. They didn't foul. They didn't trap. They gave up a wide open layup. They then missed a layup, and then fouled. And Yale made both free throws. So Yale wins by 6. Yale wins by 6 with 73 points, which means that Green Bay finishes with 67 points, making all the middle school kids happy. They were down 15. They were down 65-50. They then went on a 15-4 run to cut it to 4. Actually, a 17-4 run.
They've played some good ball this year, man. I mean, that Minnesota
they
loss
just haven't
was
put it together.
Yeah, it was a heartbreak for sure. This is kind of, if I'm Doug Gottlieb, I immediately am thinking about Josh and Trevor, because I don't know if you heard in this latest interview this past Wednesday.
Yes. No, I was listening live about the travel difficulties and
well, Josh, I believe it was Trevor actually asked him if he would rather get rid of the phrase bruh
or 6'7"
or 6'7",
and he said 6'7", right?
And now they just scored
because it doesn't mean anything. Bruh, at least like I can say what up, bruh, like that means something.
They scored 67 like now and all this, like that's a little weird. It's a little weird. The universe doing all that to Green Bay, but they're close. They are a better team than they were last year. That is a fact.
All right. Yes, that I will definitely agree with. A team that is probably not better than it was last year, and it was bad last year, is our Wisconsin football Badgers. 3-7, 1-6 in the Big Ten. Of course, 1-0 with Thunder in attendance. No big deal. Taking on the Illinois Fighting Illini, ranked 21st. The 21st ranked Fighting Illini, who are 7-3 overall,
coached by Brett Bielema.
4-3 in the Big Ten. This game opened at a 9.5 spread, went to 7.5, now has settled at 8.5, according to our friends at the dumb 4-letter network.
No Potawatomi ads on the no Potawatomi odds on a Badger game.
Exactly.
This is probably the closest spread they've had since week 2, right?
What was Washington?
It was 10, I
was
think.
It 10?
I think it was 10.5.
I think it was 10.5 or 11.
It's a night game at Camp Randall.
It's a 6:30 game tomorrow on the Big Ten Network. So you can find it on the Big Ten Network tomorrow night. It's going to be, I assume it'll be chilly.
Yeah, probably.
Hopefully it'll be dry, chilled. I mean, snow is fine. Rain is a little miserable. I will, you know what? I go to my Google device. I'm clicking on Madison weather, where it is 44 right now. Tomorrow, 47 degrees for a high, but clear. And by 6 o'clock, it's still going to be 44, 43. So a nice night.
Yeah.
A night. The weather's a little chilly, but if you get a little liquored up, if you're 21 and older,
it's November football. It's November football, right?
It's like a perfect November night, 44 degrees and clear. Get a couple beverages in you, and you got some liquid heat. Is there a way with Carter Smith as the quarterback that the Badgers keep is there a way they cover, Tommy?
There is a way they cover, and it doesn't start on the offense. It starts on the defense. Those true freshmen in the middle look awesome, and their number one priority as a program needs to be that Posa and Cooper don't go anywhere, right? I mean, they are the foundation right now that they have to build around. Wisconsin has always done a great job at getting linebackers into the NFL and getting to the next level and being a part of leadership on their defense. I'm thinking of guys like, Chris Borland, and who's the guy who's on the Bears right now? And his name's escaping my mind.
I know exactly
Edwards,
what you're talking about.
TJ Edwards.
TJ Edwards. Yeah.
But, they do that in the middle all the time. And I think these guys.
I mean, that goes back to Tarek Saleh and all those guys back in the 90s.
Joe Schobert, another guy I'm thinking of.
Joe the Show.
Yeah,
Schobert,
he was awesome, right? And Posa even, puts a little bit of edge rusher on you. He can play in the middle, but he can play on the outside too.
Yep.
And if those guys are going to have big days, the Badgers always have a chance to cover. Now, to win, you're going to have to score points.
Yeah,
and
that's going to be tough.
After Atuka gets injured last week, who was kind of the one guy who was giving you a little bit of hope on the offensive side, I do think that at another program, I'm glad he's in this program, but at another program, I think Vinny Anthony would be a lot more productive on a lot of other teams.
Vinny Anthony is for real.
I think he's good, man.
Could be a stud.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't had somebody to throw him the ball.
Right.
He's got 27 catches for 299 yards, an average of 11.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be averaging double that.
He's fine.
Right. But if he was somewhere else, he's averaging 16, 17 yards a catch.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah. I think that Vinny Anthony has it in him. And Eugene Hilton looks fun. T.Y.'s kid, like as a true freshman, getting some playing time already. It all starts with Carter Smith. And quite frankly, we have seen poor games from Carter Smith and the Badgers come out victorious, right? I mean,
would you say Carter Smith has played 2 games now?
Yeah, he's played 2 games.
He's 12 for 27.
Yeah, it's not great.
106 total yards.
Yeah.
In 2 games, he's thrown for 106 yards.
Yeah, I understand. It has not looked pretty.
He's ran for 52.
Yeah.
Which that feels a little bit, but that is, and I also want to say, like, you look through the running backs, and I feel like every year you have like a backup who's running for 8 yards a carry, or like somebody's running for something. Man, Dylan Jones, 3.9 yards a carry. Atuka, 4.3. Dupree, 3.4. Yakimelli, 3.4. You got to go down to Kekahuna, who's a wide receiver on sweeps, who's averaging 9.1.
Yeah.
But it's been like, they are not running the ball. They can't run block. The quarterbacks stink. Like, this offense is so bankrupt.
Right. So why is the spread so close?
Because their defense is decent. And if the defense, listen, you saw the first half of last week.
Yeah.
Against Indiana for a half. They couldn't sustain it for 60 minutes because the offense is that bad.
Yeah.
That at some point, as a defender for this Wisconsin Badgers team, my heart is going to break. And at some point, when my heart and my soul get broken, the offense is going to be able to score points. And against a team like Indiana that scores 100 points a game, that's going to happen. I think the thought process is that at home, at Camp Randall, against Brett Bielema, which most of these kids have no idea that Brett Bielema coached the Badgers. No. But maybe somebody use it. Maybe there's an ex-player who comes in today or tomorrow morning and gives them a little fire like, hey, this is the next coach. Let's rub his face in the dirt. If the defense can build that momentum like they did against Washington. I mean, Washington came in with a quarterback who's not great at throwing, but's really good at running, and they contained him and showed that they could be dominant. If the defense can show up for a half and it's 7-7 or whatever it is, or down 7-3, but then they can carry that over into the second half, they can keep it close.
They need to put up the second most points they've put up in a ball game this week too. They need to.
What have they scored this year? Do I even want to know? Is this like the saddest thing you've ever looked at?
So the Badgers have put up over 20 points one time year.
They scored 42 against Middle Tennessee State.
And then they have not put up more than 17 since that. They've put up 17 against Miami of Ohio.
17, 42, 14, 10, 10, 0, 0, 7, 10, 7.
13.
Oh, 13. I'm sorry. That was
Washington.
Sorry, yeah. I was reading.
You're just so looking at the loss.
Yes, I'm so used to looking at the loss column that I didn't even look at that.
Who would have thought that the second most, or I guess it's only the third, but they put up 14 on Alabama, and they haven't done better since then.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I totally agree.
That's what's going on with this Badger team right now.
And I will say, last week against Indiana, I know they scored 7. But the touchdown they scored
It was awesome.
It was awesome, but it was also on kind of a trick play.
No, it's play action.
It was, but it was 4th down and 2 at 9. Like everybody sold out for the run, and the tight end got loose. And I get that, but like in a real game against a team that's worried about you, that they don't let that happen. It showed Indiana was 1,000% not worried about what the Badgers were going to do.
It was the most exciting play that didn't come from the punter all season.
Oh yeah.
Like literally
it was amazing.
Like, I mean, between what Sean West has done in the passing and the running game, like those are the 2 best plays of the year so far for Wisconsin.
I just love that Washington game, which says win 13-10. The high passer was West with 24 yards.
Yeah, I understand. Like it's been rough. It's tough sledding right now to watch Badger football. But what I have seen is that there is more care for this program than I think Wisconsin even knew at the beginning of this season to where they are now. I really do believe that, because we've gotten a lot of traction from talking about Badgers here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. I think a lot of people are frustrated with the product. Everyone who is a fan is frustrated with the product right now. But you've seen glimpses. And now, as big as the spreads have been and as ugly as the Badgers have looked, they've covered the last 3 games in a row, or one outright now, with Indiana, Washington, and Oregon. We knew the schedule was going to be brutal this year, and they lived up to it. They weren't very competitive in a lot of games this season. But even just seeing the last 3 weeks out of this team, you do have to give Fickell some credit, which I don't love to do, but they didn't give up on him. No. And this was the easiest season to give up on possible for Badger football. Are they going to be fun next year? I don't know.
No, but there's no way to know. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. 414-677-1250. Do you think the Badgers can cover tomorrow night at Camp Randall? Illinois is an 8.5-point favorite. The Badgers averaging probably right around 10 points a game in Big Ten play. I didn't do the math. Maybe it's a little bit less than 10.
Probably less than
probably less than 10, somewhere between 7 and 10. Do you believe? You can give us a call, 414-677-1250, or you can shoot us a text on the text line, 414-677-1250. And does it matter? Is it important to you? Are you going to watch the game? Are you watching the Badgers game? Will it be on in the background? Will you check an app, a sports app that you have, to see what's going on? Tommy, you're making a big face right now. What's going on?
The Badgers are averaging 6.7.
They are not.
Per game in
they
Big
are
Ten
not.
Play.
I don't believe you. No, that's impossible. No, you just made that up.
47 divided by 7, boss.
Oh my gosh. That is, that makes sense. They're going to score 7 points this week and keep that average.
Yeah.
Right? 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Are you watching the game? And if you are, great. If you're not, do you watch when they're good? Like, do you watch the Badgers when they're good? Are they on your radar at all? What's up, Duluth? What's up, Superior? What's up, Wausau? Green Bay? Are you watching the Wisconsin Badgers when they play football, or do you watch them when they're good? When they're, let's see, what are they, 3-7? So if they were 7-3, would you be watching? But because they're 3-7, you are not watching this team anymore. The Wisconsin Badgers hosting the Illini tomorrow night at 6:30, and then the Badgers will end the season next Saturday afternoon at Minnesota, the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. That is going to be a 2:30 game on FS1. This is what I love about this game. Ready? When they show like tickets as low as, you can get into the Badger Illinois game for $8. I'll bet you can get in for less, by the way. But right now the website has that you can get in for $8. The lowest ticket for that Minnesota game is $67.
Isn't it in Minnesota?
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, do you think that's because it's just Minnesota, Wisconsin, and it's a rivalry?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because there's a lot of people in town?
No.
Like, there's a lot of people out of town for Thanksgiving, but there's a lot of people in town who come in town for that game. And do you think it's like one of those things that Minnesota got beaten down by the Badgers for so many years that Minnesota fan, student or not, and especially grads who live in the area, want to be at that game because it's their opportunity to see the Golden Gophers just absolutely row the boat and boat race the Wisconsin Badgers. Yeesh. $67. Who's paying for that to see the Badgers? That's something. I don't know. That's something. What are you doing this weekend? I know Inside Wisconsin Sports does this, but I feel like I've been doing this like for a year. Like this has always been my thing. I love doing this on Fridays. What are you doing this weekend? Let us know. Are you part of a fundraiser? Are you playing sports? Are you watching sports? Are you driving to Beaver Dam tomorrow to watch girls basketball like me and Tommy are? Yeah, you didn't even know you were. I just kidnapped you. I literally just kidnapped you. I stuffed you in my trunk, and we are going to Beaver Dam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how it's going to happen. 414-677-1250. 414. I'm not really doing any of that. Policemen listening. I'm not really kidnapping Tommy. Tommy's my friend. I would never do
clipping that up in case something goes wrong.
Oh, my gosh. 414-677-1250. Your thoughts on the Badgers, and what are you up to this weekend? Coming up on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch. He's Tommy. We are Middays with Thunder and Tommy. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. My name is Mitch Nellis. His name is Tommy Wirtz. It's middays with Thunder and Tommy when Mason's not here. And Mason's not here because he was in Boulder, Colorado last night, being inducted into the Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Mazel Tov, to our very good friend and co-host and teammate and compatriot and best friend in the world, and we're the three best friends that anyone could have. Mason Crosby, good for him.
Yeah. I mean, and he's got more to come.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I'm sure that we know he was in what Hall of Fames did he retired?
Right.
He Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Colorado
we
Hall of Fame.
We didn't get invited to that one.
What we got
Packers.
We're missing one.
Packers
in between.
Packers.
Well, that's my more to come. Right?
Is there a? I wonder if there's a Georgetown, like.
Oh yeah,
like high school,
and
then like to him and Brian Anderson. Could we do one event where like they just like get all of Wisconsin media to come down to cover like the two awardees in 1 year is Brian Anderson and Mason Crosby, and just make it a Wisconsin party in Georgetown. Also, so I can go to the place that has enchiladas and steak.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean, I just want to go there.
What was that? Tomatillo or
something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I mean, of course, I give him a hard time all the time on the show, but super awesome.
Yeah, we love him.
And I know how amazing he was and his impact on Packer football in general. But I like to humble him sometimes when it happens. And
that's really your job, wearing your Summerfest hat.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fire Summerfest.
Super fire.
Fire Summerfest.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. He's Tommy. I'm Thunder. Brett is on YouTube. And so he writes in, Vinny's kick return versus Alabama was good. Yeah, no, it wasn't good. It was great. It was awesome. He's one of the reasons they scored 14 points. And then he says, yes, UW can cover, but man, that defense has to keep that score way down.
Yeah.
You're losing 14-7 covers. Losing 17-7
does not.
Yep. We got 262 on the talking text line. That's the Nicolay Law talking text line, 414-677-1250. What are you doing this weekend? Are you watching the Badgers game? Can the Badgers cover? I kind of just want to know, are you watching the Badgers game? 262 says, great show, first time texter. We should have like ooh, yeah.
Nice.
I'm in a craft fair at Waterford High School on Saturday from 9 to 3. I take antique doorknobs and make coat racks out of them. That's pretty cool.
I always thought that was your nickname in high school.
Coat rack?
Well, the antique doorknob.
Oh, the antique doorknob. Nicely done. I am not that crafty. I don't know how to do that. I will be at, I assume, Beaver Dam High School.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at Beaver Dam High School tomorrow, where there's it's not a tournament, but there's like a girls basketball showcase. Whitefish Bay varsity plays at 110. JV then plays at 245. I will be there for the 110 game, but I'm obviously more interested in the JV game where Big Rumble will be taking place.
That's going to be awesome. Yep. I'm excited for you there. I meant to do this.
You coming with?
I don't think so.
Come on, man.
I meant to tell this and put this out there at the beginning of the show, but opening week in hunting this week, by the way. So I know a lot of hunters going to be out there. Hope you guys, good luck out there.
Yeah.
Let us know where you're going to be. Just shout out where you hunt. And then I don't know if this works necessarily on our talking text line because I've never had it. But if you get one, I want a text. I want you to give me your trophy shots.
If you bag one.
If you get one, send them all in. We'll give shout outs for hunters this week. It's going to be awesome. My roommate's out hunting, so I got the full place to myself. But I'm hoping for some venison on the way back when he comes back.
Well, and Trevor Thomas is on. He's on call. He's on call. I have told him I want some jerky.
Yeah,
like I've told him. I said I want jerky. Get me some jerky. It is Packers. Or it's NFL. My Cause My Cleats week. So the Packers, they've sent out the list. I'm not going to read them all because like all 53 of them are wearing cleats for different causes. But really good ones: Autism, American Cancer Society. Boys and Girls Club, Trisha's Troops, American Breast Cancer, all sorts of great nonprofits that are going to be repped and hopefully raising money for this weekend at Lambeau. It's Packers and Vikings. It's Badgers and Illini. Green Bay scored 67 points today and they lost. It happens. My thanks to Luke Braun. My thanks to Mikey Henninger. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nelson. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We're in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a great weekend, everybody.
I was